play it all or nothing. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Poker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need a couple.
Welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube. We know we're from the crib. It's a late night edition of this one. How are you guys doing?
I am ecstatic for the simple fact of the team that you counted out, the team that everybody that I know that isn't a fan of them counted them out. I believe they just came back from, was it 26, Cam? Was it 26? I believe I have a text message on my phone in our group chat of you saying Sixers and 6. Don't think that that's a possibility anymore now, is it?
Hey, if it's 7-7, you feel me? I can't judge it all the time, you feel me?
When are you gonna give the Hawks their respect, bro? Come on now. I've been telling y'all since the beginning of this playoffs. This team is for real. Anyway,
are you gonna do it? The end of speak?
No.
I'm doing good, just working at the job, getting this money. But the playoffs is coming closer and closer to an end. Going to see how this plays out. So I'm doing good.
For sure. Which opens up our first question, especially with the playoffs going around. The Bucks and the Nets are now 3-2 with the Nets leading, but with the injury of James Harden and Kyrie Irving, who has more to gain from winning this series now? Kevin Durant or is it Giannis?
It's quite simple to me. Who has the more to gain? It's very obviously Kevin Durant. For the simple fact of even if Giannis were to win, everybody would discount it because Harden and Kyrie are hurt. So they would say, well, Giannis shouldn't have won because they were missing 2 of the 3 superstars. So and plus, even if Giannis loses, I don't think that this destroys his legacy because Giannis is still 26 years old. He just signed his Supermax. He's in Milwaukee for a very long time. His legacy has not been written yet. His story is far from over. He still has at least 5 years of prime production. He still has a chance to grow as a player. Jordan didn't win his first title till he was 26, 27. Giannis has plenty of time. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant, his story obviously hasn't been completed yet, but we've started to see people kind of pencil him in for this is what we think his legacy is going to be. He's going to be a ring chaser. He can only do it with 2 other superstars, this, that, the other. And now that he just gave a 49 piece to the Bucks in a very important Game 5, I think it's showing that if he can get them out of this hole, if he can, because James Harden shot 1 for 10. It's not like he's looking very good. So if they get out of this hole and they escape the Bucks and then potentially make the finals without Kyrie or if James Harden still isn't at 100%, I think Kevin Durant has more to gain and also more to lose from this series.
All right. I'm on the opposite spectrum of you. I think that Giannis had more to gain because, quite frankly, I'm not going to say it's over, but I think Kevin Durant is that guy, and I think I think Brooklyn is going to win. But anyway, that's besides the point. When you look at Kevin Durant, he has the MVPs, he has the final MVPs, he has the championship, he has the regular season success. He is cemented as one of the greatest scorers to ever touch a basketball. And especially when you look at last night when his back was against the wall, he had 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 44% from 3, 70% from the field, and he played every single minute. Now, in my personal opinion, if we're talking about legacy, I think that this series was a perfect series for Giannis to elevate his legacy. And like you said, Josh, he's younger, so he still has time. But he really had Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee Bucks had pressure coming into the series before the series even started. When we talk about the regular season success and we talk about how good their defense was, Josh, you're on record a couple episodes back saying how their defense is so good to the fact that they are one of the teams in the league that can beat the Brooklyn Nets. And, this was the chance for them to change the status quo. And when you look at Giannis, he has MVPs. He has a Defensive Player of the Year. He has the regular season accolades. But You can't make it out of the Eastern Conference. You can't make it to the finals. And there's this narrative going around that he can't be the number one player on the championship team, and his weaknesses in this game hasn't been fixed. And no matter how well you build a team around Giannis, you still have to deal with his weaknesses. Y'all know that saying that, he's in his bag like the fries at the bottom? Giannis has no bag in a half court setting. He has no bag. He has no move to go to in a half court setting, and he makes bad decisions in the playoffs. One thing that I saw last night that really just confused me, you are being guarded by a hobbled James Harden. What on God's green earth makes you want to take a fadeaway shot? Your home has been in the paint for a vast majority of your career. So what makes you shy away from that in that moment when you can completely dominate there? And Josh, you talk about the defense and how that they could beat the Brooklyn Nets because of their defense. Well, a big part of that defense is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I brought up in past episodes that he didn't want to guard Jimmy Butler when they played against them before. What? Maybe this is a bad mindset, and quite frankly, I don't care. If I'm an NBA player, I don't care what Budenholzer, has to say. I'm taking Kevin Durant. I don't care what you have to say. I'm guarding Kevin Durant, especially at the end of a game, especially if he's scoring on you like crazy. You're the reigning defensive player of the year. I feel like that's something you have to do. That's just my personal opinion. And when you think about all of the disadvantages that were going against the Nets, Kyrie being out, James Harden being injured, KD coming off of a Achilles injury, you were given Drew Holiday and other tools. You were basically given everything you needed to dominate. And like I said, KD is cemented. I believe he is cemented at this point. Giannis is in the combo of being one of the top players in the league right now. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. And even if you lose, you should go out swinging. If this series ended right now, can we really say that Giannis went out swinging? Can we really say that?
I'm going to be on the other side of the spectrum as well. You look at what Giannis has done. Let's just keep it real. He's a 2-time MVP. He's a defensive player of the year. We know what Giannis can do in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, he's had 2 major meltdowns that I feel like we cannot ignore. Versus the Toronto Raptors, you was up 2-0 versus Kawhi. Didn't get it done. Miami Heat, they built the wall. Couldn't get it done. Miami Heat at this time, as much as grit and grind they are, they have no superstars. If Giannis is this true superstar we all praise, he's supposed to win that series. And now you have a Brooklyn team with KD and Blake Griffin as the 1 and 2 options. Really, you take away Kyrie, you take away James Harden. This is an even series now. I mean, honestly, you could say the Bucks have the better talent right now. Giannis has to win this series. He definitely has more to gain. And with all the chips on the line, he has to do this. But the sad reality is I think Giannis will end up folding like he always does. And I think it comes back to this. The Greek Freak is not a top 5 player in the league. And I feel like he continues to show us that in the playoffs every single year. And I feel like if he was to win this series, it would have put him in those conversations. But I don't think he will. And James Harden right now looks like a genius saying he's just running and jumping because most of the series, that's what it is. And it's been hard to watch Giannis in these situations where the Bucks need a bucket. Because I mean, all he's doing is backing up and running forward and hoping that his size will help him get a basket. You see him get offensive fouls, you see him shoot threes out of nowhere. It just looks crazy sometimes, and especially what Deandra had put it. There was a point in the game, they're down 2. James Harden is guarding him, and he shoots a fadeaway jumper. That's not his game. And you start to wonder, can Giannis really be a number 1 if this Bucks team is gonna go all the way? And I don't even know if that's the case. KD. And then you look at what he called KD last night at the end of the game, because KD is the greatest player in the world. You're guarding him. Where's the want? Where's the if I'm Giannis, how are you gonna praise the guy that just gave you guys 47? Well, where's the ferocity? I just don't see it in him. So I think KD, what KD's done, he's already won his championship. He's already got the offensive titles. KD is already right there. But if Giannis were to win this series, he'd have the ability to shut up all the critics who saying he's just running and jumping. He doesn't have a bag. He can't be a number 1. This will be Giannis's moment to do it. And if we're going off of what we just saw in Game 5, he'll fold in Game 6. Sadly.
I just hate this idea and this narrative that y'all are pushing that Giannis doesn't want to guard KD or won't guard KD. Is Budenholzer the one? Giannis is on record saying he wants to guard KD after Game 5. I don't know what Bud's trying to do, but apparently he don't want to throw Giannis on there. I'm just saying it's not Giannis. It's not up to Giannis at this point.
So I don't think Ty Lue told Kawhi Leonard to guard what's his name, Donovan Mitchell during the series. I don't think there had to be a conversation. He just guarded him and they started winning the game. I don't think he told him to guard Luka either. You know, if you're a defensive player of the year, why don't you want to guard the best player?
So we're now discounting him for listening to his coach.
This is not just the first time. He's done this multiple times.
So now we're discounting a player for listening to his coach. That's crazy to me.
It's not just
a small thing to pick on.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Josh. At what point do we say, you know what, maybe what he's doing isn't working? Maybe what Budenholzer is doing is not right. Maybe we should change up the game.
I've been saying that.
So that's what I'm saying. You're saying we're not. I'm just saying I'm not more so trying to criticize him. I'm just saying it's certain moments of the game, like Cam said. I've seen Kawhi go guard a player and say, you know what, I got him, and completely lock him down. We have not seen that from Giannis, and Giannis is a reigning defensive player of the year.
If he's just staying inside the defensive scheme, as far as we know, we don't know what's going on necessarily. We're not inside those huddles. So I'm just saying, I don't know why we're discounting him for this when it's probably on the coach and how he wants to defend Kevin Durant.
It's not working.
Well, how did that work out for him?
It's not working.
So that's why Giannis said, I want to guard him.
But if you're the best player on the team and you're a defensive player of the year, why not?
Giannis just said he wants to guard him.
Now,
okay,
it's late. He after he dropped the 50, of course you want to guard him now. Okay.
There have been talks that the college football playoffs will be expanding to 12 games. How do you guys feel about that?
I honestly don't like it. And I think it could possibly ruin the intensity of a college football Saturday. Because if you look at it from a broader scale, once you lose 2 or 3 games in a college football season, your team starts to slate further and get back. And it's like a fight for that 4th spot, like it's been for multiple years. And then you see there's 12 teams now. It looks like it's easier to get in. And everyone's saying if there's 12 teams, the smaller schools will get, the looks that everyone wants them to get. But I feel like it's going to be even harder to judge those teams. We're going to run into the exact same problem because you look at Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina. Those were the 2 teams that we thought, oh, they maybe should have got that 4th or 5th spot. But are we really going to take undefeated Coastal Carolina over a 2-loss Clemson? Are we really going to take undefeated Cincinnati over a 1-loss North Carolina? Are we really going to take a 3-loss Bama over an undefeated Coastal Carolina? The talent disparity won't change. I feel like, I understand what they're trying to do with get more teams involved, but I don't really see the purpose of it. I feel like if they were going to expand anything, it should have been the 6. Because if you look at the college football scale, I feel like there's really only 6 teams that could really compete each other or maybe on the same level talent-wise. Because I feel like what's going to happen is you're going to get these type of games that are, it's going to bring in revenue, but it's going to be blowouts. Do you really want to see Alabama or Ohio State versus a smaller team in a non-neutral location? You want to see a team go to Tuscaloosa and try to play a playoff game? You want to see a team go to Columbus and try to win a playoff game? I personally don't want to see that because I know the outcome of those type of games. And so I think we're going to see the exact same result. And so I think if there were 6 teams, it would be a better margin, and it would be more equal. But having a 12-team playoff, I feel like just causes the same controversy, and I feel like we're just going to see more blowouts that way.
It's one of the worst ideas that I've seen come up in sports in the past 10 to 15 years. Quite honestly, it is asinine how they can try to explain this as a good thing. Does it bring in more TV revenue? Potentially, yes, because now they're going to have a month of college football playoffs. That's way too long. It's perfect the way it is right now, where you get 4 teams. If you want to expand it, go to 6. You can even make an argument for 8. Maybe. But if you go to 12, you're going to get so many first round matchups that are just absolute blowouts. Who really wants to see Ohio State play Coastal Carolina? I mean, it's cool as like David versus Goliath thing. I love Coastal Carolina. I think they're great. They're going to get blown out 56-0. And the only games that are going to be fun are going to be the middle tier games where it's like, oh, they're all fighting to see who gets to lose to Bama next week. This is fun. Do you want to know why the NBA regular season is such a slog and why nobody cares about it? Because everybody makes the playoffs in the NBA. It's always been at least half the league makes the playoffs. And now we've got up to 20 teams technically making the playoffs with the play-in tournament. So nobody cares about the regular season because you can be a completely mediocre team, get like a 6 or 7 seed, and you're still in the playoffs, and technically it's a success. The reason the baseball regular season doesn't feel like such a slog, even though it's 162 games, is because only like 8 to 10 teams make it at the end. So you only get like a third of the field. So it actually means something to win games. As Cam was saying, if you expand to 12 teams, you can lose like 2 to 3 games, but if you're in a power conference, you still have an argument to make the playoffs. So now who cares about, college football Saturday? Alabama will continue to go through the motions. A bunch of underdogs will continue to play well and then get crushed. And we'll just have 2 other weeks of college football that we don't necessarily care about until we get to the actual heavyweights, because it'll always be Clemson and Alabama.
You guys pretty much summed everything up, but I'm going to touch a little bit more how you guys said that it would help like with TV revenue and stuff. I believe that it will help the weaker conferences. Obviously we can say they would still get demolished by a team like Clemson or Alabama, but the truth of the matter is I believe that although they're trying to get better, they're probably going to be grateful for any type of revenue that they get because they're not on the level of an Alabama or a Clemson. So the only thing keeping these teams really from ascending are their finances. So when you pump money into these programs, they're able to invest in football and they're able to keep the talent at home and they're able to get talent by recruiting and they can invest in their facilities. So we never know. I don't it might be different like maybe 5 years 6 years down the line with this format and maybe a weaker conference might come to the forefront. We don't know, but some concerns I had about this was what you guys were talking about where the value of it kind of goes down, like when the Air Jordan or retros come out, one of the reasons why they're so valuable is because it's so little number. Once they sell out, they sell out. So once you pick up the number of something, the value goes down. So some of these playoff games and these bowl games are going to be a little meaningless. And another concern of mine would be the risk for injuries due to the extended season. And but players chose to opt in and play in during the pandemic. So I'm pretty sure they might not care about playing through an extended season. An extended season. So, but I know a way that they can compensate for that. Maybe pay these players for the risk that for the risk that they get for playing in an extended season. But anyway, but aside from what you guys I like watching football. So I'll watch anything that's on TV. But like you guys said, these players, these weaker conferences just to get blown out by the big teams and the big schools is.
I just don't want to give the bigger teams in college football like layaway to like lose now. Because will we experience a load managing where it's like, do we really need to beat this team this Saturday? Because lose, we'll drop to 5, but we'll still win. We're still in the game. Like we're still.
Yeah, for real. How many different games can Clemson then rest all their 5 stars because they're playing in the ACC, which is an absolute joke and has like 2 good teams. It takes away from like the value of actually watching people on Saturday, because when Clemson loses now with the way it is now, it's like, well, crap, they might actually miss it now. There's a chance. But if you do it to 12 teams, it's like they lost twice. Oh, well. Just throw them into the 10 seed and watch them go crazy.
Or like, what's the purpose of a championship or like a bowl game, like a conference championship? Like, if an SEC team doesn't make the SEC championship, usually you're not in the big game. So you're telling me you can miss the SEC championship and still get in there? Like, it opens up. Like, what's the point of bowl games now? Do we have a conference championship? So I feel like it's a bad idea. We should go to at least. I understand 6 or 8, but 12 is that's too many teams. It's too many teams. Well, that is going to close out our episode. I don't know if that was a quick one or a long one. I'm not really sure. Do you guys have anything to say? We're about to hear some Hawks talk. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we've been watching the playoffs. We've been seeing how it's go down. You know, I got a little something for Denver Nuggets fans. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. You know, I just had to bring this out real quick. You know what I'm saying? I just had to bring this out. Oh, wait. Oh, look, it's even y'all colors. Look. Oh my God. Wait. I got one more thing. I even throw the dustpan in there with it, bro. You know, first of all, I just like to say this is a shout out to Jokic. You know what I'm saying? You tried your best. You're the MVP. But, you know, respect to Chris Paul. Give him his respect. They keep counting my guy out. I hope you get better or whatever is happening with the COVID protocol. I hope the best wishes. I hope you come back. But respect my guy. Keep leading teams to wins. That's all I had to say.
D'Angelo wants to talk about respect and respect my guy. And I think that the same message applies here. Cameron, I would love to hear you say something about how much you respect Trae Young and how great of a point guard he is. I accept my apologies in cash, gift cards, or direct meals that you buy for me. However you want to do it, because I have had to deal with the Hawks' disrespect left, right, and center. And here we are, up 3-2, number 1 seed. Joel Embiid, best thing since Hakeem Olajuwon, can't make a bucket in the second half in one game. And then in this game, goes 3 for 9 and starts actively trying to draw fouls as opposed to actually trying to hit shots. Ben Simmons, unplayable. Can't hit a free throw.
Can you talking about drawing fouls?
Hey, no little Trae Young, 36 and 9.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll do what he wants me to do for right now. The Hawks are legit. Okay, this is not a thing. The Hawks are a legit team. They got ballers. They got scorers. Trae Young, as much as I hate to say it sometimes, is prime time. Ice trade is a thing. Saying that, I still think you guys will blow the series because there's Atlanta on your shirt. There's Atlanta on your shirt. You know things. Whether it's the Falcons, the Braves 3-1 twice. This is the time. You're gonna cry this time. You're gonna cry. You will cry this time.
Cam, we've come back.
This is
we've come back from down 18 and 26.
Another thing I will say, I have a theory about Joshua Julian right now. Josh has called a bunch of players this year, washed, can't play, or just not that good. And when he calls these players these things, they show up all of a sudden. Maybe Josh should just start calling out. He should start calling out more players. He didn't call out Russell Westbrook. He went to averaging triple-double. He said Blake couldn't play. Blake's playing crazy. Paul George, if you haven't noticed, this is playoff. This is 32 times. And the Jazz, without Kawhi tonight, it's 3-2.
Yeah, sure. Listen, I could be wrong on everything else I say. I could be wrong on everything else I say for the next 6 months. If the Hawks win in 6, I don't care.
Okay, I respect that.
I don't care.
Well, it's good
that playoff P finally looks like playoff P because he hasn't in the last 2 years.
Definitely.
It's about time.
Well, that is going to wrap up our episodes. We'll see what those Hawks do. Takeover up.
Yeah, we play it all in night. Yeah. Need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Not that holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter. You know I'm facing when I roll a paper. I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need